Healthcare giant Bupa is slammed over significant and serious failings that led to beloved grandfather, 86, dying of Legionnaires' disease at £1,000 a week care home. Healthcare giant Bupa was today fined a whopping £3 million after a beloved granddad fatally caught Legionnaires' disease at a £1,000 a week care home. Subsidiary Bupa Care Homes B&H was slapped with a hefty penalty at Ipswich Crown Court after admitting significant and serious health and safety failings following the death of Kenneth Butson. The retired businessman had moved into the facility aged 86 just 12 weeks before he caught the deadly disease at Hutton Village Care Home, in Essex, where it was later found records had been falsified, warnings not acted upon, and the manager was not trained. Mr. Butson's family said they were robbed of his twilight years after painstakingly choosing what they thought was the perfect place for him back in 2015. Instead, they were forced to watch him die after failures to monitor and flush the water system allowed the deadly bacteria to develop, despite concerns raised in 2012. Today they revealed they have launched a civil case against the multinational and will fight on for compensation. Mr. Butson's daughter, 54-year-old Carolyn Peters, said, "It is almost 3 years since our father contracted Legionnaires' disease from his bathroom and Hutton Village nursing home. Today Bupa were finally brought to justice by the excellence of the British legal system. The sentence imposed and the £3 million fine will not bring our father back, but with the hard work of everyone involved, Bupa are now facing the consequences of its failings. We would like to thank the team that brought the prosecution to its conclusion. Ultimately, we hope it will prevent another family having to suffer a needless tragedy." Judge Emma Peters blasted the firm for its lack of training, oversight, and failure to flush a plumbing system. She slammed Bupa for significant and serious failings, which meant that Legionnaires' concerns raised in 2012 were not acted upon for 3 years. Legionnaires' disease is a severe form of pneumonia that causes lung inflammation. It is caused by a bacterium, known as Legionella. Around 500 people in the UK and 6,100 in the US suffer every year. The condition can cause life-threatening complications, including respiratory failure, kidney failure and septic shock, which occurs when blood flow to the vital organs is blocked. Most sufferers become ill by inhaling tiny water droplets from infected sources, such as shower heads, hot tubs, swimming pools or ventilation systems in buildings. Anyone can become infected, however. At-risk people include the elderly, smokers and those with suppressed immune systems, such as chemotherapy patients. Symptoms usually develop between 2 and 10 days after exposure to the bacteria. Early signs include: people may then experience treatment is antibiotics, usually in hospital, as soon as possible. Prevention involves meticulous cleaning and disinfection of water systems. People can reduce their risk by not smoking, as this damages the lungs and makes individuals more susceptible. Source: Mayo Clinic. In her lengthy sentencing, she highlighted that records were falsified, warnings were not acted on, and the home's manager was not trained. This, coupled with a refurbishment, meant the disease was able to develop in the hot water system. Judge Peters also revealed that other care homes suffered from the same oversight problems, but changes have now been made. In March 2015, Kenneth Butson, an 86-year-old man from a loving, supportive family, moved into Hutton Village Care Home run by Bupa Care Homes B&H Limited, she said. Just 12 weeks later he died of Legionnaires' disease that resulted in an investigation by the HSE, which brought a prosecution against Bupa Care Home, to which they pleaded guilty. There is no dispute he caught that disease at Hutton Village. Likely it came from an aerosol of the disease from his hot tap. They failed in both the duties they owed to the residents of the care home and in particular Mr. Butson. In a high-risk environment and the provision of care homes to have systems that don't check up on untrained managers, it's not, in my view, a system that discharges its duty. No one had a grasp of Legionnaires' risk at Hutton Village, and no one understood fully or completely the system. I suspect the level of remorse in the company is real, but this has not been well conveyed by the company. His youngest daughter, Ms. Peters, revealed the terrible shock of her father's death earlier in the proceedings. Speaking in court, she said, "I am shocked and saddened that a company such as Bupa can show absolutely no regard and compassion right across the spectrum, from the management at the nursing home right through to the highest level of authority. My father walked into the nursing home as an elderly gentleman with his twilight years ahead of him. Within 12 weeks he was dead. Bupa was also slapped with costs of £151,482. Joan Elliott, managing director for Bupa Care Services, said, "Our thoughts are with Mr. Butson's family and friends, and we are deeply sorry. Our residents' well-being always comes first. We've made a number of improvements across all of our care homes to make sure colleagues' training is kept up to date. This is important to offering the best care for our residents.